And so many things in life we surrender. And I know that many of us, when you may have raised your light today when Kristen was asking, like, what are some things that might be heavy in your life? I definitely think that as moms, we always have something to surrender. Maybe it's surrendering our agendas. Maybe it's surrendering our timelines. It's surrendering our structure a little bit and saying, God, we surrender to you. We trust you with what you're doing. We trust you with the changes that you want to make in our home. We trust you with our children. As we know, surrender means to give up or hand something over and to abandon oneself entirely. And I just want to encourage us all today that if there's something that we're holding on to, something that we need to surrender to God, say, God, I give it over to you. I just courageously, boldly ask you to take over and do something different with this situation. And so I want to share a story with you guys this morning. It is the testimony of my precious baby. My husband and I set out in the early spring of 2015. That's my husband, Brian. We had been married for a few years, and we set out to have a baby. So we said, we've been married, we've loved this married life, let's start into the next chapter. And so the journey to conception was not exactly what we thought it was going to be. And please keep in mind, everybody's story is different. So I'm not up here to have a woe is me story or compare me being worse than somebody else. It's just my testimony, so please hear my heart in that, as I know that other moms have probably struggled way worse than we did. But we started out this journey to have a baby in the spring of 2015, and after about 6 months in, I started to question, wait, God, my whole life, all I wanted to be was a mom. I was that kid in kindergarten when everybody raised their hand saying, oh, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a doctor. I'm like, I just want to be a mom. And that has stuck true. I always just wanted to be a mom. So when I wasn't getting pregnant, I thought, oh man, have I had it wrong all these years? Like maybe this isn't what God has for me. Maybe adoption is the route. And we just continued to press in. And we learned how to pray in the waiting. I don't know if there's something that you guys are waiting for, but prayer changes things in the waiting. There is something that shifts in the atmosphere when we ask God to say, it's not going the way that we thought it was going to go, but we surrender for you to take control and to give us peace throughout this journey. So we began to just seek God and just ask for peace throughout it. Another 6 months had passed, and here we are approaching the 18-month mark. And so we find ourselves in August of 2017 sitting in a specialist office, a fertility specialist, saying, okay, what's the next step? We're ready for it. And so they proceeded to tell us, if you don't get pregnant this month, we're going to bring you in next month, and we're going to start you on these fertility drugs that will hopefully help you conceive a baby. And I said, okay, like whatever it takes, that's what I want. I want a baby, I'll be there next month. And shamefully, I just kind of threw in the towel as to what God had planned for us. And I said, next month, we're going to go, we have a plan, it's my plan now, we're gonna do whatever we can to have this baby. And God had other things in mind. That month, August 2017, we conceived our sweet boy. And so it was just a month before we were supposed to start the treatments. And it was yet another reminder of God's timing is best. His ways are higher. And no matter how long or difficult the journey may seem, his ways are always the best. So here we are, we find out that we're pregnant, we're extremely excited. I was that girl, I had the best pregnancy. I loved it. I never felt sick, I was able to work out, I was able to keep working, go about my day-to-day activities, and I loved it. I was like, oh, we're gonna have 10 kids. I was like, no, we're not. And so I loved it. I just became engulfed in the whole thing. I felt so close to Jesus. I felt like how cool to feel life move within me. And so as we're continuing on in this pregnancy journey, February rolls around. It's a couple days after Valentine's Day, and I'm at work. I work at a venue, so I do weddings, corporate events, things like that. And I'm sitting there talking to a client, and all of a sudden, I'm like, whew, what in the world? There's no way that this baby just grew that much. first time mom fail, I just kept thinking all day long I was just having growing pains. He just has to be growing. That's all it is, he's just growing. And so I kind of continued to push everything off and just say, he's growing. And so later that evening, my husband had set up dinner reservations. It's Friday night, 2 days after Valentine's Day, and he set up dinner reservations for us at the Whitney. I had never been, I'm super excited, and I don't know about any of you guys when you had your first baby, but everything became like the last for us. Like, this is the last Valentine's Day without a baby. This is the last Christmas without it. So we felt like we had to do like everything over the top because it was our last before a baby would arrive. So I'm super excited. I hadn't felt well that week, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to take a little power nap, and that way I can wake up, be completely refreshed, ready to go for this date night. And as I'm laying there, I'm about 30 minutes into my power nap, and I roll over to some pretty excruciating pain that almost like paralyzed me. And I thought, that is so strange. So I let it subside, and I get up and I go to the restroom where I found a lot of blood. And as you can imagine, almost your worst nightmare is coming true. And so in that moment of complete hysteria, I call 911 and I say, kind of let them know the situation. I am 27 weeks and 5 days at this point, and I am like, I don't know what's going on. I need somebody to come here. So then after I called 911, I called my husband, and he rushes home. The ambulance gets there. They look over me. Everything is going well, and I said, okay, let's still go to the hospital. And honestly, in that moment, I felt like God allowed my son to move within me to remind me that he was still there. I did not feel fearful in the moment that he was gone. I felt very confident that the Lord was stirring this baby within me to remind me that he is in control. And even though situations in our life don't always pan out like we think that they're going to, it doesn't mean that God's not in control. And so in that moment, like we're talking about surrender, I had to surrender my agenda and the way that I thought I was going to have a baby to God. I also had to surrender the life within me and say, God, I trust you in this situation. I don't know what it's going to pan out and look like, but whatever your plan is, I'm on the journey. Let's go. And so we make our way. Thankfully, we live about 10 minutes from Royal Oak, Beaumont, at our home in Ferndale, Michigan here. And we get to the hospital, we get checked in, and on the way over, I had called my OB office. It's after hours, and they connected me to my midwife who happened to be on call. So not only did I have a midwife set up, I dreamt of having a natural birth. I dreamt of having my baby thrown on my chest and having this moment with my husband. But I found myself in a hospital bed in triage being told that my baby could be coming. And so prior to that, sorry, let me backtrack a little bit, my husband calls the Whitney on the way to the hospital and pushes our dinner reservations back. That's literally how clueless we are. We just think we're going to the hospital to get a stress test. Meanwhile, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably not going to the Whitney tonight, but I'm probably going to be on bed rest, and we'll just Netflix and, hang out tonight. So anyways, we check into triage, and she's doing the stress test. The baby looks great, the heartbeat is great, and we're like, sweet, we're going to be out of here soon. And the nurse proceeds to say, let's go ahead and just get an IV started, just in case. And so she leaves the room, and my body proceeds to release quite a bit more blood. And I said, honey, you gotta get somebody. Something is wrong, this is not right. So the nurses come back in, and she checks me. And you don't need to be a first-time mom or a 10th-time mom to know when she checks you and says you're dilated to a 7, that your baby isn't going to stay in there much longer. And so she said, not only are you dilated to a 7, but your baby is breached, and we're going to have to do an emergency C-section right now. And in that moment, I clung to the Lord. I was just like, God, if you don't fill this room with your peace, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to turn into this crazy hot mess. And so they come in, I have this peaceful room with just my husband and I and a couple of nurses, and a swarm of people come in. I have an anesthesiologist saying, you need to sign this, somebody handing my husband a stack of hospital clothes saying, you need to put these on, we're going to take this So there goes the Whitney. And we are transferred over to the operating room, where by God's grace, my midwife was there. And I don't know about any of you guys, but I went to a pretty big office where we had a slew of doctors, a slew of midwives, and they always encourage you to see everybody just in case you didn't get the person that you were familiar with. And I just stuck to the one midwife. So here I am. By God's grace, she was there. She was the only person in this room that I know besides my husband. And although she couldn't perform the surgery, she was at least able to be there with me. And so we are in this room, and I said, the nurse came in, and I'm like, or the doctor, excuse me, I'm like, can I just see what you look like? Like, you're about to have a major surgery on my body, and I'd like to at least know what you look like. So she keeps her head over, and I see this in her glasses, and that's it. And the surgery starts. So I had checked into triage about 5:30, and on February 16th, at about 7:32 a.m., at 27 weeks and 5 days, my tiny miracle baby was lifted from my body. And it was surreal. I was super excited to meet him. And let me tell you, at 27 weeks, oftentimes babies' lungs, they don't work. They didn't have an opportunity to be developed. My C-section was so emergent that I didn't have an opportunity to get steroids or anything to jumpstart his lungs. So when that baby came out crying, God's goodness just kept coming and kept coming. And it was just another wave of peace in this room. And so they took him, and nobody was like rushing or frantic, so I felt very confident that things would, pan out okay. And they walked him over. He was wrapped in plastic. His skin was so thin, and his body was so frail that to try and keep some warmth to him, they wrapped him in plastic, and they put on a little, like the normal size newborn hat, and it looks like this giant bowl on a tennis ball. I mean, his head was smaller than a tennis ball. And so there lay my 2-pound, 10-ounce miracle. And it was definitely not the delivery I ever thought I would have. And it definitely wasn't the journey that I ever thought we would go on, but there's where we found ourselves. And so after recovering for a couple of hours, they said, "Did you want to see your baby?" And I said, "Well, yeah." The only thing I had seen of him was they walked him over before they took him away, pulled off an oxygen mask for about less than 2 seconds. My husband snapped a picture, and he was gone. So about midnight that night, we got to go back, and I think they have a picture of me seeing him. Why not? It's okay. So that night in the NICU, I was able to go down and hold him and love on him. Those are my husband's hands, and that kind of gives you an idea of how small he really was. His skin was really thin, his bone structure all showed through. But what's so crazy and so cool about God is when he says he knits them together in our womb, he had every part. He had fingernails, he had ears, he had a head full of hair, he had a beating heart. He was everything that we ever dreamed for him to be. And so this really started our journey. I thought surrendering to God when we were trying to conceive was going to be just it. That, all right, we'll give him to you, and then we're going to have this baby, and then we're going to live this awesome, happy life, and he's going to come, and there won't be any more surrendering that needs to take place. Well, little did I know that this was just the start. And as moms, we all know that every day, no matter if our kids are newborns or 20 years old, it's surrendering to God, saying, "God, we trust you with our children. We trust you with where they're at. We trust you with them in school. We know that the world we live in today is not ideal, and we have to surrender and trust that God will take care of our children." And so, as we're journeying through the NICU, there was a couple of verses that just kept coming to mind that I wanted to share with you ladies, and I really think that's something that, as moms, we can just carry with us. And one is Matthew 11:28. It says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." I mean, how many of us could use an extra 8 hours, And so, throughout this journey, I just would say, "God, I need your rest." And nightly before I would go to bed, 1 Peter 5:7 would come to mind. "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." And I would just say, "God, you have to take captive my thoughts." And no matter if your thoughts are the to-do list that you have to do for your kids' school play the next day, or baking cupcakes for them to take to school, or whether it's how long is my baby going to lie in this hospital bed? We all have things that nightly as we lay down, we can say, God, take captive my thoughts, take captive my initiatives, my plans, my dreams, my wishes for my kids. I surrender those to you, God. I want you to do what only you can do with them. So the NICU was hard. It was much longer than I anticipated. What's really cool about God is when we did conceive, I was told that my due date would be Mother's Day. So not only have we been on this journey to have a baby, but then I'm told, oh, your delivery date is Mother's Day. And I thought, oh, it's so cool. Like, Mother's Day, it's springtime, I get to walk outside with my baby. And I tell Beckham all the time, I'm like, look, you are going to hate your birthday in February. Sorry to all the February birthdays, I had a summer birthday, and so for me, I hate the winter, I hate the cold. He's just now experiencing his first days of cold, because he was in the NICU so long, by the time we left it was hot, that I'm like, oh, buddy, you have no idea what you're in for here in Michigan. No idea. And so we spent 89 long days there in the NICU. And we wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for the Lord and his peace. And honestly, looking back on it, the whole journey to conception and the whole journey throughout the NICU, I wouldn't change. I would never want anybody to walk through it, but I also wouldn't know Jesus how I know him now had I not had the opportunity to walk through that journey. And so I think it's a lot about perspective. It's about the situations we're in. What is our mind? What is our perspective? What is our mind telling us about this situation? And how can we turn our eyes and surrender to how Jesus wants us to view it and how Jesus wants to take care of that situation? And so throughout that whole process, it was just a daily surrender of saying, God, like, this is my child. I need you to be in charge of him. I can't do it. I can't do it on my own. I am weary. I am tired. I have walked this same hallway every single day, multiple times a day for 89 days. And we couldn't have done it without so many friends and family around us. So many people brought gifts, brought food, sent gift cards. I mean, it was at least a month that I did not buy a single grocery. And so when you guys get asked to do like a meal train or get asked to help a new mom out, it's a huge blessing. Like, there is no amount of money in the world that could overtake not having you cook, in my opinion. I always say, if I'm rich one day, I'm hiring a chef. I don't need the clothes, I don't need the house, I don't need the vacations, I need a chef because I hate cooking. So the body of Christ really stood up. God was incredibly faithful throughout it all and just taught us so much. I mean, there was so much about that journey. I think they have a picture too of where he came home. We were pretty excited. We were like the last month and a half very pins and needles as to when we would go home. We had no idea. They say when you get into the NICU to assume that you will be there until your due date. And I thought, 3 months? I'm not staying here 3 months. I will not be here 3 months. Well, guess what? May 16th, 3 months to the day, is when I took my sweet boy home. And I remember, peace out, NICU. We do not like you. We are out. And the nurses, the team of staff there, they were absolutely incredible. He weighed the smallest he ever was 2'4", and when we left the NICU there, he was 7'5". Just got weighed yesterday. He's 13 pounds, 4 ounces, and he will be 8 months old on the 16th. So God is faithful. We are incredibly thankful. I had a friend of mine who had a NICU journey prior to me say, I really feel like God will show you ways as to how he can restore. And because I was that mom that loved being pregnant, I grieved my belly going away. I grieved packing on my pregnancy clothes. I grieved not having my baby thrown in my chest. The whole first that so many of us may have gotten to experience, I really grieved that process. And so she said, I really feel like you'll find and see ways of how God restores. And he has. I don't say this pridefully, but Beckham is just the best baby. I mean, he is my world. He sleeps 9 to 10 hours. He still struggles a little bit with eating, which was the biggest thing that kind of kept us in the NICU. He really struggled with consuming the amount of food that they wanted him to. But he's smiling, he's laughing, he's hitting his milestones. We don't have any lasting effects of our NICU stay on him that we know of. So I share this testimony and this story hopefully as encouragement. I'm not up here say, woe is me, we went through this long, hard journey. It's just, what journey are we on in our life where God can speak to us, where he can show us things about his goodness and his faithfulness, and it's all about our perspective. So many times our minds are just so clouded with things as moms. We get so many things on our plate, and it's just the surrendering to God and saying, God, this is not something I can handle. I need you to handle this relationship. I need you to step into my marriage. I need you to help me in my work-life balance, whatever that may look like. And so I just really encourage you guys this morning. Hopefully you took nuggets out of my story to just encourage you, to empower you as moms. There's nothing we can't make it through with God's goodness. There's nothing we can't make it through without the faithfulness of the Lord and his blessing in our life. That was us this past weekend at a wedding. And I think Christy's going to bring him up here too so you guys can see him. And one day I feel like God is restored too. And one thing God has restored too is, so often I was so worried about him being a preemie, but hindsight, I've had a really small baby for 8 months, and I don't like that baby stage, so it's been really fun to watch him grow. We're still rocking the 0 to 3 as an 8-month-old.
All right. He's so cute.
So he is just a total reminder, as all of our children are, no matter what your journey is, to conceive your baby, to birth your baby, to adopt your baby. Those heart babies are powerful things too. I always told my husband, we are not getting married unless you're open to adoption. So heart babies are wonderful too. So no matter how your children are yours, we just need to thank the Lord for them and just find ways to find him and his faithfulness in our lives, and just surrender those areas where we question ourselves and question our ability, and just say, God, we can't do this without you. We need you to step in. So thank you so much for letting me share our story. Thank you for letting me be vulnerable with you ladies. And I just pray that you feel encouraged today. And I'm just going to pray with you real quick before we get into the discussion questions and kind of move forward in that. God, we just thank you for this time. We thank you for the testimony that you have given each of us and how they all look so different. We thank you for the journey that you have had us on and where we are right now. God, we pray that you would just protect us, protect our thoughts, allow us just to daily remember to surrender to you, God, to give up our dreams and our wishes for our kids, for yours, because they are higher, God. We pray that you would protect our children. We pray that you would be with the moms that have babies within them now and the moms whose hearts are desiring them for the future. We pray, God, that you would just bless this time and the discussion, that you would be in the midst of it, and we would just give you praise and glory for all that you do. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.